Hello. Anybody there? Cheers. Have a Diet Coke on me. I will have mine. Will have Coke Diet, please. Oh my god. I just gotta stare at my fucking face on the screen here. That's not good. I'd rather stare at anyone else's face. I got Mort over here. Definitely want to stare at that. Excuse me. I'm still finishing my lunch. How's everybody's Friday going? I'm real excited about today's stream. What? Wait, where? Yeah, today's stream. So what we're gonna do today, unlike any other day, is first play. We're gonna play Flight Simulator. No, that's like every other day. I meant to say. And I don't know what or where we're gonna do good, which is good. Every time I have a preconceived notion, it doesn't go well. And also, when I don't have a preconceived notion, it often doesn't go well. So today will probably not go well, but we'll see. It's gonna be fun at least. I mean, I don't know, fun for me. And maybe we'll learn something about the plane. That because it might be a plane we haven't flown very much before. Let's try it. There's a couple different options here. And then the second half of the stream, we're going back to the music studio. Anybody here as excited as me? There'll be the second music studio stream. The first music studio stream wasn't terrible, but it was not great. It was not perfect, and this one will not be perfect or good even. But the major problems I had, we will try to get around, which is that I had too many cameras. I had 3 cameras on it, and 2 is the correct number. And I didn't like the positioning. I put a little more effort into where I'm putting the camera angles today. We'll see if it's better or not, because I don't really want to change them too much while I'm demonstrating things. And finally, the part where I record something, I've been testing it out to make sure that when I play back the recording from the digital recorder that you can hear it. Rather than last time, I made a recording and that sounded good live, and then I was like, oh, here's what it sounds like on the playback. And the playback you wouldn't have heard because I did not. So I've been playing with the routing buttons on the switcher. And hopefully I'll remember this time, but hopefully I'll remember in the future exactly how to make a recording and then switch it over correctly on the record, so that I don't have to make any changes on the recorder, which is nice. I don't have to press too many buttons, but more than I would if I had routed you guys out from the control room output, which is what I'm hearing, versus the main output. The main output gives you a little flexibility to change the volume levels. Because, long story short. All right, so let's do the flight simulator stuff. Come on, flight simulator. Flight simulator. We all want to see flight simulator. What? Shut up. Flight simulator today will consist of me yelling at the screen and using my controller to fling the plane around. But what we haven't done is some serious canyon carving in a major city recently. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of thinking that's the way we're gonna go. There's some major cities in Australia, and again, I'm kind of looking for someplace that's got some decent weather. Oh, it's raining all over Australia. Probably a hot rain too, being in summer. There's not too much canyon carving to be done here. We could go to Europe and turn the lights on, meaning turn the sun around. I wonder what the weather's like over there. Some of these I definitely have some updated models, flight models. I wonder if a nighttime flight might be appropriate today for a Friday. I never know what we're gonna do. And by the way, if I get bummed out by flying around at night, I can change it to day. You get that godlike level of control in this game. So if we're gonna do some canyon carving, I need a really maneuverable plane, aeroplano, here, something that's real maneuverable. So. No, definitely not that. Oh gosh, there's so many choices. I really want to fly my flying boat again really soon too. those areas. Quite maneuverable. Well, I've been really wanting to take out the B-17A again. So many possibilities. I'm going to turn this down a bit here. So many possibilities. So many. Okay, audio output capture needs to be on or you wouldn't hear anything. Okay. So if we were to choose the Saab, we still have a bunch of really interesting liveries to choose from. Like, I mean, Ethiopian Air Force. Weights and balance. Let's go a little under, 40%. We're not going to need anywhere near that much fuel. And the goal here is to see if we can even turn this plane on in the dark, because I know there's always an issue with the lights. And also, I don't know what the weather is, and then I just want to see what the nighttime model for this. Hey there, so we're gonna check out this. It's Schiphol, which is a major European airport in Belgium. No. It's the Belgian. It's not Schiphol. It's a different airport. It's the Belgian National Airport. I forgot what it's called, but I'm checking out their nighttime model because I've heard it's different. And it's in this Saab B-17, which is also a plane that I bought and I flew once, and I was like, I'm really excited about flying that plane again. And you'll see why. It's just really different and cool. Well, you might have been there the first time I flew it. I don't know. I just want to remind people, after our flight simulator section today, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break and restart keep going there in the recording studio. We're going to do kind of an overview of what all is back there. This time I'm going to focus a little on the OP6 synthesizer, what I know of it, and which I'm learning a lot about it currently. And we'll make a little tune of some kind, and we'll play it back, and it should be like a fun hour or so. I got to see if I can... well, there's technical issues last time, and we're going to just try to improve on those. Yeah, see what I was saying? It's like really dark. But we have a light on our helmet. That's good. Okay, and it's on. We're going to need that. All right. But I was able to successfully start this last time. It's not that... It can't be that hard. We just got to figure out where everything is. Fuel tank select. Okay. Right. That one will make the left tank. Oops. And this one will make the right tank, right? I think, if I remember correctly, there's just one, and it just kind of acts for both of them. Because this doesn't have that system, right? Okay. Yeah. And then there's a primer. Usually that doesn't do anything. And then there's some switches. That doesn't matter. There's the starter. Is there? We've got to turn the electricals on first. Where is the electrical system? Let's go in a little bit further here. Okay, that's the radio. That's the electrical test system. Again, every plane has kind of a different layout for the electricals. This has got... Okay, that's the air system. Okay, oil radiator flap can be closed. Landing gear is down. I don't know what this button's supposed to do. Mixture is 100%. That's probably fine. Though some planes will not start on 100% mixture. Okay, man, these are the magnetos. Magnetos have to be on. Wait, why is it doing that? Both, please. Thank you. I don't know. Okay, now let's... All right. Panel lights, this is the lighting board. All right. Yeah, I think this is the one that the battery is on. Okay, that's 100%. There's no battery master because it started lighting up already. Okay, but let's see here. Let's gotta cover this. Fuel gauge selector. Magneto is on. Parking brake. What are these things? Okay, these are the those are the circuit breakers. Starter cover. Let's see if we can start it. I see the cylinder temperature's coming up. I hear it quite loudly. Hold on one second here. As usual, I think it has reset the volume. Yes, it has. You don't need to hear it that long. It's dark because it's nighttime out. I wanted to check out the nighttime view, but I probably am going to change it to daytime. Because honestly, you can see that, I mean, first of all, there's a bunch of planes lined up over there. That's what that is. But it's a fun challenge to take off at night. But I think I'm going to switch it today because I want to see the city, and which is Belgium, some city in Belgium, and we can't really see it at night. So we'll adjust it. But okay, I'm just doing for this, we did get it started. Put the starter cover closed. Cylinder temperature's coming up. Okay, uncaged. Very good. Okay, and let's see if is there a radio? There's a pen there. Windshield de-ice. Oh yeah, there's this thing which we're going to turn on. Oh, that's a transponder, I think. And okay, that's the fuel tank thing. Yeah, basically that's it. Now light selector. You're down. But yeah, we can't even see where the hell we are. Why are there no? There shouldn't be there like landing lights. Okay. Wing lights, beacon lights, nav lights. There should be landing lights, and I don't see them on. So I want to see if I can find them. Or taxi lights, excuse me, also. Okay. Where would taxi lights be if I knew where you were? What's that there? Cowling flaps. Hopefully we usually do not need to adjust those. Sometimes they're here, kind of depth. Well, sometimes they're on the yoke, which I made invisible. Parking brake, I don't see anything on the yoke. Yeah, they don't put anything there. Okay, so yeah, I can't find out where the switches are for landing lights, which would be nice. Maybe I bet they're behind here somewhere. Pitch trim. Canopy lock. Front closed. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna switch to the day because I can't see what the hell's going on. I just find it kind of boring. So it's 9 p.m. there right now. Well, let's just pretend it was 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying? The electrical systems must be turned on. Where is the electrical panel then? That I'm not seeing. Well, first of all, now I can kind of see things now that it's daytime. Where am I missing an electrical system? It's not down here, is it? It's not there. It's fuel. Maybe from this view I can't see it because it's not always. We already checked these. Radio mode. Well, the radio is off. Ah. There we go. That's where you turn the radio on. Okay. Figured out. All right, let's just go for a flight in this beautiful B-17 in the afternoon. Because, yeah, the night models they're nice, but it's just hard to even get off the ground. Oh, please. It's going to go on for about 20 minutes. All right. So the plane is running well. Let's give it a little gas. Use the parking brake. Okay, we can steer. We can move. We can brake. All right, that's good. We're going to need to do all those things. We can steer. It's going to go on for a while. It's these complicated airports. They have these crazy things, which we're going to ignore. What are they going to do? I mean, we're going to ignore their recommended path. Let's see, how are we going to get over there? It's a big airport. They want us to get, like, over the other side there. All right, we're not necessarily going to go in that circuitous method where they have to go all the way around. And the reason why they do that is because in the real world they do that. They don't. They wouldn't route you through active traffic to get to a runway. They can't. You know what I mean? Where planes are loading and unloading. Only those planes are allowed. Well, I think we can get through. Maybe not. I thought you could get through from one side to the other of this place. Maybe not. Dead end. Interesting. Okay, I don't know this airport that well. Uh-oh. Shoot. Yeah, I did not know the airport that well. Yeah, we'll restart that. It'll be during the day, though. Maybe we'll go to a different airport. I always figure out a different way to screw up. But yeah, you can run into, you know, I was going really fast at that point. Also, this plane does not have much in the way of brakes. All right, let's say that's fine. All right, it's an easy plane to get started in, though. You go there, fuel tank select to left. Right, this we can go on. That's on. Battery's already on. Don't worry about that. Mixture is at full. We can put some lights on. I know. Yeah, I crashed on the. I crashed trying to navigate through the stupid crazy airport, but it was my bad. I was trying to take a shortcut, but I don't know where these things are. Let's see, is it spinning? It's spinning. And we have radio. I'm just kind of speeding this up here. Let's try it again. Maybe we won't. Oh yeah, this is the crazy thing it's going to talk about for a while. All right, well, we'll be taxiing for a while, although I think we can cheat it. Where are we compared to the runways?
Taxi to and hold short runway 01 via taxiway Romeo 1 Romeo 2 Juliet India November 3 India November for India November 5 India November 8 India November 9 or India November 10 Echo Tree Oscar Uniform Tango 10 Charlie 6 cross runway 07 right Delta 2K NSH Tree 19.
Right, I mean there's a runway right parallel to where we are, but it wants us to take off on the other side of the frickin'. We're getting some lag, and that we're not going to do. We're going to take off from right here. This is a perfectly good runway. And they don't care. I just want to kind of get up and fly around a bit. Right here. In fact, I don't think they check, really. Once you ask for clearance, I don't think they care. All right, flaps to 1/3 because we're taking off in this beautiful. I love this plane, especially the way the gear comes up. Like, you just got to be careful because it takes a long time to slow down in this plane. You gotta slow down way in advance where you guys want to stop. It's a heavy. I guess it's heavy, and the so yeah, we're not close enough. Anyway, we'll be fine. We're just gonna get off here. We're gonna choose our own runway, which is this one right here. Plenty of room. All right, and also we're in a good takeoff configuration. Flaps at 1/3. Smoothly adjust the throttle to most of the way. Tail comes up. Try to keep heading down the runway there. It seems to be a little squirrely. A lot of these planes comes right off the ground. But it's powerful. I was not cleared to take off, but I was bored. All right, so this is the best part. You got to watch the gear come in. Whoops, that's too much. It like folds up, it tucks. I would say the gear tucks. That was kind of funny. Maybe we'll come. Let's see if the gear will come down. There, it's coming down. Okay, watch. Like from the front, I think the best. It's like got knees. I just love that. This is the only plane I've ever seen with that kind of gear design. And it's real simple too. It doesn't require, because it's self-contained. It doesn't require doors and a system to open and close the doors separately. It's a really elegant system. It doesn't really produce a lot of drag compared to the amount of extra weight and drag that a system that tucks the gear all the way into the body would be, and how much thicker the wing would have to be to compensate for that. I've never seen it before, and it's just, now that I've seen it, I think it's just the most brilliant engineering I've ever seen. Anyway, there's no penalty for taking off when they don't want us to take off. Which way is like a city? There's Linz. That's Brussels. I think we want to go kind of west, northwest from here. But I'm not sure there are any two major cities around here. Yeah, this is Europe, and it's getting a little icy. Do we have a de-icing system? Turning our windshield icing system on. I guess it's cold out, and what with the air, you can kind of see, it's interesting, you can kind of see there, when I zoom in, there's a layer of icy film building up on the windshield. And I turned on the defrosters, and we'll see if they should have some, but as long as we stay low, it's not too cold. It's usually it's actually going to be a lot of problem if you fly in clouds at high altitude. And this system will model that. I just love the way this plane looks. And this is the first time I've flown this livery, and that yellow, oof. Ethiopian Air Force, I think, something like that. All right, let's see if we can trim this guy here a little bit. There's something over this way. That's the airport that we took off from. We're flying. Okay, we're flying more like southwest. Eventually we'll get to the ocean. Let's check out what this stuff is. We gotta do some real low-level canyon carving. I think there's a city coming up here. Not sure what city it is. Might be Brussels. I met a man from Brussels. He was 6 foot tall and full of muscles. I said, "Do you speak my language?" He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. King Baudouin Stadium. Okay. And look at that thing. The Atomium. Smash motor. Can you go in for a ride on that thing? That's cool though. Check that out. If you're looking. That's the kind of canyon carving we like to do. In fact, let's take another pass of this bad boy. We'll go to the basilica here. That looks like a basilica to me. When I think basilica, absolutely. Looks like a cathedral, but it's like a really big cathedral. Alright, let's go back and I want to check out that Atomium thing again. Yeah, this is Brussels, by the way, in case somebody's wondering what city we're flying around over. Let's just do a little canyon carving here. I think some of the architecture of the city is going to be well represented here. Maybe this low-level pass. This highly illegal low-level pass through the city in a Swedish warplane. It's like maybe Sweden has declared, war on Brussels, Belgium. Stranger things could happen. Cool, huh? Some cool buildings. Like most European cities, it's all built around the train station, And that's the train station right there. It's a pretty afternoon in Brussels. I met a man from Brussels. I'm not doing that one again. How many cathedrals do they need? I mean, wouldn't one suffice? That's a nice one, though. I'm definitely getting some graphics card pushback. The graphics card's like, no, stop. I can't do this anymore. You're not paying me enough. This is the Atomium. Atomium? I don't know what they call it. Check this out, man. It's almost as cool as the Sphere. It's all glinty. I think, you know what it represents? An atom. Alright. So that's Brussels. So people want to know what the hell Brussels, Belgium is like. You can see the outlying areas are real picturesque. Like fairy tale pretty. But I can fly around Brussels all day. Alright, we saw the Basilica. We saw kind of downtown. Is there something on the other side to see that? Where the sun goes down. By the way, how is our plane running? What's our cylinder temperature? We're running a little hot. Can we open our cowl flaps? 41%. We're running a little warm. I'm opening the cowl flaps. Don't try to stop me. Don't try to talk me out of it. I think that will get us a little cooler, a little more efficient. A little more power out of the engine that way. Probably want to back off on the mixture in the propeller too. Get into a efficient operating realm. Some really, really nice architecture there for sure. And very unique and European. So there's like a train station going underneath there. A lot of public buildings. Never been to Brussels though. Oh yeah, what's this? Try not to crash, but as you know, I don't care. Is some kind of public building or a museum? It's all shiny kind of. I don't know. Fancy. Call it. Fancy schmancy. That's the thing about Europe. Fancy. Yet, it's old. It's got that old fancy. America's got the young fancy. You know what I mean? Well, I love the way this plane flies. I like it the way it runs, but we're going to land it. So let's see if we can find a nearby airport. Ish. We're not going to go where we started, though. So I think there's some airports in this direction. And we could probably land here. It's not that far. Really nice little trip. What does it look like? What's this over here? 2,000 feet of altitude? No. Pass. Or this one. Yeah, you can land here. EBCV. Alright. So this is what we're flying over, this kind of, not kind of outskirts of Belgium, Brussels. in Belgium. I saw this like really tall, but is this a smokestack or is it a building? We're gonna check it out. It's gonna sure cast a long shadow in the afternoon. Lots of wind. Yeah, that is some kind of, I don't know what the fuck it is. I bet that's like a cell tower or a water tower that's kind of disguised or something like that. Because it's obviously not for people to go in. There's no parking lot there. It's really tall. We shall not know, I don't think. All right, we'll call them that. We're going to call these guys. Old buildings, you know, everything. But, you know, it's just the way it's laid out. You know, you're in Europe. So it's EBCV. EBCV. Chivres. It's an air base, which is appropriate. Since this is a military plane, technically, I believe.
1,900 feet to land.
We're 18 miles northeast, so we're going to travel southwest. 2979. Have I done this here? Similar. See, oh, this is the one that's in the middle of Mars. So hard to tell. Fine.
Enter left traffic runway 08 KNSH
Versus
319er.
PSI. But I didn't find this plane a huge challenge to land last time. Again, this plane I don't just been crashing too much. It's just the only issue is braking. Hey, should we switch fuel tanks? We're on one. We're on the left. We're gonna switch to right. Our right tank. So it doesn't get too heavy. It's definitely a bit of a fog layer, but that won't be a problem. I don't think we need to get closer. We'll have to get thicker. We'll be fine. What else would we adjust? Normally we'd probably be adjusting the mixture probably down and propeller. I don't know if that's an adjustable propeller or not. I thought it did, but trim. Yeah, I don't see. All right, we're gonna land at this airbase up here. And then we're gonna open up the canopy for a breath of fresh air that we need. Diet Coke? Sure, why not? And we're going to have that, my favorite thing, that the landing gear is going to come out. And I'm going to get real excited about it. All right, how far away are we? 13 miles away. All right. And they told us left traffic runway 8, so they want us to go over the airport anyway. Because we're going to do right. They want us to go left. So the pattern they want us is to go left and then around back to the runway. Okay. And the reason they do that is they want us to land into the wind. And they're basically letting us know that the wind's coming from that direction. So we're going to fly a little bit of a circuitous route to travel. But at some point in the future, we're going to switch over to the recording studio in about 10 minutes or so. Well, after we get landed and settled down. And we're not crashing, by the way. We've already crashed once today, so that's enough. We're going to be careful this time. I learned a lot about the plane yesterday. The A-10, like how you make the reserve tanks, and all sorts of interesting stuff. All the planes have things. Is there any switches down here? Oh, those are the landing lights that I did not find previously. We're turning them on now. I was wondering, where are the fucking landing lights? They're in a really unusual place. Now I know. So if you look now, you can't really see them because it's daytime. But at nighttime, that would have been really helpful. You can kind of see they're on the wings. There's lights on the wings. Okay. Again, there's the base. You can't. The fog is making it a little tricky to see. But we're gonna pass it anyway. And when we get around to kind of like the, in about another 15 seconds, it's gonna give us clearance. About 30 seconds from now. And that's when we're going to start transitioning in meaning flaps and landing gear down. There's the runway. Shields. That's a pretty strong
Clear to land runway 08,
headwind.
KNSH tree 19er.
It's fine. All right, so flaps to 1/3. Throttle down. I'm gonna get to make a turn. Flaps to 2/3. I think we're going to try to put this in. The gear can come down now. Oh, we love the gear. There it is. All right. Okay, continue to make a turn. Watch for minimum speed. Little fog out there. This is what it looks like from here. Kind of a haze. The runway's over there. Alright, we're going a little fast. We're going to go to full flaps. Those are those trailing wing flaps in the back of the wing. Because you want to be closer to around 110 for landing. And if these planes land fast, you'll never stop them. That's why you need a long runway. If they don't have like any kind of reverser, and the brakes are barely functional. That's typical of the planes that have this kind of tricycle landing gear. Still going pretty fast according to that thing. The airspeed indicator that I'm seeing. That's a good lineup. Oh yeah. Uh-oh, we had a pitot tube incident. I didn't turn my warmer on. Oof. We're going to talk about this later in the debriefing room. It was like the airspeed was not indicating correctly because my tubes were frozen over. My pitot tube. I do not think I put the warmer on. We're going to check it. Yeah, I was concerned about going way too fast, but obviously I'm not going way too fast. This is also one of those runaways that's got weird shit going on it. Alright, so now let's try to stop without smashing into something. Flaps up, which helps with the back of the engine, back down. Torque a lot.
Industry 19
Yeah, which taxiway is that? That way.
History 19er contact ground on 122.1.
Going to 122.1 KNSH tree 19er.
Yeah, I'll park around here somewhere. Maybe the kind of parking spot we probably have. All right, beautiful plane. Actually handled pretty well in the air. As usual, on the ground is where these things start getting especially hard. Especially if you try to like mash the brakes, you'll just spin right open on the front. I want to check out something here. You should be able to open this canopy. Oh, that's, I think you can open both sides. Maybe you can only open one side. I don't think this is open though. It has a slide on that side. Back there, of interest. All right, well, let's shut it down then. Okay, so lights off. Magneto to. Oh, let me do that. Off. Fuel to off. This thing goes off. There's no battery master. I keep looking for that, but there isn't one. On this particular plane. Reserve fuel pump. Don't need it. Oh yeah, mixture to cut is probably what you want. I like that there's these cowl flaps which are behind the engine, and they're I guess you can, I think you can see them open. That's at 100%. They're behind the engine, and I guess they're effectively manually cranked, so you can open and close them even with the engine off. Kind of cool. You see the engine in there? You kind of can. Oof. They model a lot of stuff. Well, you can see the engine quite clearly from the front. It's too bad they don't have a way of kind of disassembling the plane. Some planes, I think you can open them up. Okay. Well, I learned more about the B7, the Saab B17 this time around, including some things about temperature control of the engine, some things about the flight regime, and also, oh yeah, the thing is that I did not do is I'm pretty sure I did not have the pitot heat on, which is why my airspeed indicator froze and indicated I was going really fast when I was not, which is really dangerous, which is why those pitot tubes have heaters and often backup systems. So that was a very dangerous situation in real life, where you have to recognize that if the airspeed is something wildly different, then it must be going that it's not as anywhere near what you expected. I was going super fast as I was slowing down for landing with the flaps down and the gear down and the engine low. And then suddenly, when I got low enough, it warmed up and started showing me the correct indication. So that was my bad, because I forgot to put the pitot heat on, and it is cold. It's winter in Europe, so and humid. You can see there's a lot of fog. That's the perfect fog, and below zero temperatures are the perfect formation of pitot freezing, which is why you almost always want that pitot heater on, even unless it's really warm out and you're only flying very low. But it doesn't come on automatically. You got to put a switch on. In many planes, there's a warning if you try to take off in any case without the pitot heater on. And it will say, oh, you need to put that on. But this plane does not have a warning light system. So it's interesting that I learned not to take that for granted, the pitot heater for granted, because the system will does simulate the effect of freezing on your tube, on your tube. It's basically a tube that points forward, that air pressure goes into, and that's how you determine what your airspeed is. Well, very few people are rated to fly 100 different planes. Okay, you know what I mean. You're rated to try a certain number of planes or a certain number of plane types that have the same control layout. But that's the whole idea. Is that you'd be if you were trained for this plane, you've been trained to know that there's no warning that says your pitot heater is not on. Where other planes would have that. Like if they have a glass cockpit, they'll have that. So I almost crashed because of that, because I thought I was going really fast, so I was lowering the throttle more than I should have, and then I almost stalled out, which is literally how people used to die in planes all the time, from that kind of oversight. As I say, yeah, well, it's things to remember, but the things that, as long as you have a level head, like in real life, I would have, once I saw that that my airspeed was not being indicated correctly, I would have probably made a connection that I probably wasn't heating my pitot tube. But people probably look at this a million times in this game and go, what is the effect of turning this on or off? Because they don't run into the situation where it freezes up and suddenly their airspeed indicator doesn't move. So it was stuck at about 150 knots, and I was actually going about 65 knots, which is really close to stall speed. So, but as soon as I saw that, I put power on, and I was able to maintain 65 knots, which is also good because if you land too fast in these, like over 90, there's no way you'll be able to stop by the end of the runway, and you'll probably roll off the runway. They're kind of really dangerous to try to land, or you'll bounce like really hard and go. You can definitely crash due to bouncing. All right. Anyway, that was an interesting day. It was an interesting Microsoft Flight Simulator experience, in my personal opinion, which is the only one that matters. So I'm going to take a short 5-minute break, and we're going to reconvene over at the music studio, and we're just going to see how it goes. So maybe 6 minutes, because there's a few more things I got to do in terms of moving cameras around. But stick around, because it could be fun, but it won't be. But stick around anyway, but it won't be. At least it'll be something. It may not be, though. I was having fun earlier. So, okay, hold on. Okay, so in a second, I'm going to move over to my studio. Well, give me another minute because I have to set up my one more minute because I have to set up my TV to show my Twitch stream so I can look at chat. So it's gonna be another minute or two. Okay, hold on. Mute this. All right, now you should be able to hear me through this microphone here. It might be kind of echoey, but that's because I have reverb on. I can turn that off, yeah, but I like a little bit of it. So not too much, but we'll turn some on there. Okay, so I'm switching over to my Twitch stream here on my big TVs where I'm looking towards. So it's kind of effectively behind the camera. And that way I'll have a chat window up. If people want to ask questions or talk to me, it's going to be possible to do that. I just need to bring up my stream. They don't make it up easy on the mobile app to bring up your own stream. And voila, I'm going to do a quick test here and see how things are running. Okay, first of all, how does this look? I'm looking at myself for the first time, kind of live. It's good. I want you to be able to see the equipment, but you can also see me. And when I look at the camera, I can kind of, All right, give me another minute. Okay, much better. All right. Okay, this is number 2 of my hopefully many more series of streaming from the recording studio that I have in my living room back here. Because it's kind of new each time, I'm not going to assume what people necessarily know what everything is. However, I'm going to tell you in advance. This time, I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on talking about the OP6, the Korg OP6, versus last time I talked about the DeepMind 12. Now, I didn't get into any kind of detail on either one of my synthesizers, but that's fine. We'll have plenty of time to kind of mess around with that in the future, I think. Should these work out okay? Okay, I'm checking my voice levels. Do they look okay? Okay, a little louder there. Let's see. You can hear the synthesizers, right? We'll also be doing a test recording, and as I say, I'll play it back myself and see if it works. I think this is a reasonable audio level where you can hear me, but you can still get the richness of these sounds. it. Well, that's just me diddling around on the keyboard there. But I like this setup. Okay, the 2 cameras are definitely an improvement. You can't really see me playing this piano. I have this other camera here really high up, so I can say hello there, and you can kind of see it's far enough away that I'm hoping it gets an overview of what I'm doing, like with my hands, especially once we start talking about the Op6 here, which we're going to do shortly. But here's the quick tour of the recording studio here. Oof, it just seems a little loud. How about that? That's better. Quick tour of the recording studio, which would include on the left the Korg Op6, which is only about a year old, a new design for a pretty low cost, not super cheap synthesizer system that's pretty much based on principles that were engineered originally in the famous Yamaha DX7 synthesizer from the 80s, which I owned a long time ago. Oh man, what a monster. But it sounded great. And it can actually emulate the DX7, but do a lot more too. Then I have my console here. My main console here is this mixer, which is a perfect mixer for me. I use all the features of it, and it just does everything I want. It doesn't have anything really extra that I don't use. I use, like, has a reverb section built in, has compressors on the microphone, so I can kind of talk loud, and it won't overload things. Well, it is going to overload things there. That may be better. Okay, hello. And so, just adjusting some levels here. So this is kind of the heart of the system. All the inputs and outputs flow through this, and I can control the volume level, some pans, and some other things. But it's basically just right for what I need, because it has 4 separate stereo inputs that don't have any EQ on them, which is exactly what I want, because I don't really want to EQ my synthesizers. But I do like to EQ my drum machine, so that's on these channels 3 and 4, and then the mics come in on 1 and 2. And there's 2 mics. There's this mic here, which I could talk to if I really wanted to. Hello. It's a different mic. And this is a good mic for recording vocals, but the mic I'm using is good because it's on this headset, and I can move around a little bit. So last time we were discussing a little bit what goes into this mainly analog, but also digital hybrid synthesizer. And if anybody has questions in chat, I should be reading the chat, and I can answer them. The chat's right there on my TV screen on a big window, and that way it looks like I'm probably not reading chat because you don't see where I would have it, but it's right behind my camera and on a 65-inch screen, so it's pretty big size chat window there. There you go. Like there, I see chat. You're going to use that 808 thing, right? Give us a right. Exactly. Thank you for asking. In fact, this is the modern revision of the 808. It's called the TR-08. It's a redesign. The actual 808s are huge. They're much bigger, and they were all analog. But this is a digital recreation of the original analog sounds that would have been in an 808. We will be using this. Now, basically, I'm just controlling different little sets of 16 little beats that are programmed in various different banks. There's there's 12 banks and 12 sounds in each bank. You can't necessarily directly trigger a sound. But yeah, this is my drum machine, and I like it because it's very 80s sounding. It's very 80s sounding. I have some others, but I come back to this one because this one has a techno beats and things like that. It's good. Now I'm running it through the mixer, and I'm giving it a little extra bass boost for the kick drum, because it doesn't have a lot of oomph here. There's really only 8 sounds it can do, because it does bass drum, snare drum, 3 toms, a rim shot, a hand clap, cowbell, and a cymbal, and that's it. I mean, you can do some alternates for the hand clap and make it maracas, and that's about it. So instead of the clap, can't hear the maracas at all. Claves instead of rim shot. All right. So yeah, there are these cool. It is the Roland reissue. Behringer has a reissue as well. Correct. Good call. By the way, there's somebody knowledgeable here. I have a lot of Behringer equipment. This is a Behringer mixer, and that's the DeepMind 12. Behringer has the 808 that they also kind of cloned with the same concept, but this is the Roland reissue. It's a little more expensive, and it's kind of from their series of these mini size things. It's really cool. It has this thing where it has this it can a built-in stand effectively that you can use or you don't have to. That's effectively part of the whole box there. But the cool thing is that I have the 808 hooked up by MIDI port to the output of this bad boy here. And this thing has 500 patches, and each one has a different sequence, and each one has a tempo, and it will slave this thing. So that's what we're going to get into, because that's what we did last time, and it was really fun. But I have to come up with something here that's kind of musical. These are arpeggiator stuff. So I put a happy face on this one, so I like this. It's a little too slow for what I'm thinking of, though. We might end up needing something like that. Let's hold on to that for a second. So last time, this is what we did. By the way, I just want to make with the 7 with doing what we're gonna do, but I didn't get to play it last time. I want to see if this works. Let's see. So hit play there. Hold on. This is what we made last time. I just want to check something. All right, so I'm not playing the whole thing. All right, yeah, but I'm figuring out how when I do playback, I have to hit the 2 main mix button from the record on the tape loop. All right, but that's fine, not during recording. Anyway, this is an 8-track recorder, Tascam 8-track. It's pretty common. They're about $250, though. They've been selling them for a long time. This is like 10 years old. They record everything to a memory card. It's all recorded at 44.1 kilohertz, 16 bits uncompressed, so very actually extremely good sound quality, and you can store a lot of tracks and then do a lot of stuff with the tracks, including making an 8-track master and mixing it down to 2 tracks. It kind of really helps you out. It does a lot of stuff that normally a computer would do, but I don't really want to do a computer, and I find this system works really well. And I could transfer tracks over by pulling the memory card out of this, physically taking it over to my PC and moving the files over that way, which is not ideal, but it works. And I thought of various ways I could upgrade just this part of it, but for what I do, it's really nice. So in fact, we'll show you it works for a basic recording. It does quite well. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about synthesis on the OP6 DX over here. So. So a lot of the patches are good, but it's a very complex architecture. I don't think they've really fully taken advantage of it yet. Let me tell you what the basics are. The basics are what we call 6-operator FM synthesis, frequency modulated synthesis. So you have 6 operators as represented here by 6 sliders and 6 knobs, although they're soft. And what is an operator? Well, an operator could be a couple things. It could be effectively an oscillator, and that's what you call a carrier, or it could be something that modulates an oscillator, and that's what they call a modulator. And you're modulating in frequency time. So when you're modulating an oscillator that's producing a sine wave at a particular frequency, and you modulate it, you'll produce a more complex wave shape at that frequency. You won't necessarily do two things, but since it also has the concept of algorithms. So, for example, your 6 operators could all be carriers. In other words, oscillators, but they could be at different frequencies. So you just have 6 oscillators that you add together. But more commonly, you might have something like 3 oscillators and three modulators. Or 3 carriers and 3 modulators, and they're indicated here. Like this one does have that situation. These 3 red ones are effectively oscillators. They're called carriers, and these 3 ones are modulators. And how they're hooked up to each other is indicated in this little pattern thing that looks like some dice fell down, which you won't be able to see. It's too small for you. So I'm just going to kind of have to interpret what it's telling me. What it's telling me is that it's taking operator 1, and it's putting that into the signal chain, and then it's taking for operator 2, it's being modulated by operator 3, and that gets added to the signal chain. And for operator 4, that's this one here, it's modulated by operator 5 and 6, which are then added together and modulating operator 4. Now we're going to kind of see how that works with this particular patch. One thing I want you to note about this patch is a couple things. Is that as I open up this modulator, it gets louder and a lot more harmonics, so much brighter. And in fact, this does have a digital simulation. Everything is digital in this. There's no analog components. It does have a digital simulation of a filter. And what you're listening to there is when the filter is opened up all the way. This is the actual sound you're getting. And it's very rich. By the way, one question you might ask is how many voices do you get? And the answer is all of them. It doesn't really have that kind of limitation. It doesn't sound better. It's kind of complicated, but a single note's always going to be more accurate than 2 notes. And there's an accuracy, in other words, the wave shape, it gets less accurate the more notes you try to play, but it won't prevent you from playing them. All the notes sound like. I mean, if you wanted to play all the notes, you can. But it's interesting that it's because it's just an algorithm, and there's no limit. So there's a couple things we can look for in how to shape the sound. One is to look at the filter, or in this particular thing, it's the modulator. So if I'm looking at the filter for the envelope generator 2, which is moving to the filter, I can see that it's kind of got a zzz and down. And if I change the sustain, I can see that, yeah, in fact, that does affect the sound a lot. If I change it down, I can really make it go to almost 0 by making the filter cut everything out. But the modulator also effectively biases the sustain. All right, so let's take an example of a fairly bright sound like that. And let's go to, let's see, level for each of these things. I kind of want to bias these sliders to the correct level. So let's say, around there. Okay, no, that's the wrong one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bias these to about where they should be. About right there. All right, so the first thing I want to note is that there's 3 effectively sound chains. 1, This one's one associated with operator 1, one associated with operator 2. It's a bunch of numbers, but because you can slide them in real time, I'm going to show you how it's cool. And then there's one associated with operator 4, and that one has 2 modulators, and the operator 2 has 1 modulator. So we're going to look at them independently. So if I turn all of them off, no sound at all. If I turn operator 1 on, this is what operator 1 on sounds like by itself. It's not very exciting. Let's see what operator 2 sounds like by itself. Uh-oh, it's very different. This is just harmonics, or what we call overtones. Okay, interesting. And then the fourth one is more of a square wave, really. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, based on this, one thing I can tell you is that the harmonics, how high up, is controlled by how much modulation you're going to add. So when I turn this down, it's actually going to go lower. It's not going to go lower. Okay. Yeah, this is actually not controlling. It's not being modulated. It doesn't need to be. Okay, that's interesting. But this will change it. Let's see. I think it was chorus ratio 4, probably. But we can even make it more tinkly by giving it a bigger ratio. Okay, so let's see what we've done to the sound now. Okay, and if we look at operator 4. Anyway, you can modulate the tone of operator 4, I'm pretty sure, by changing the modulators. Let's try it. Operator 6 I don't think does anything. But operator 5 makes a big difference to the wave shape. So if we add these back in, there's effectively less harmonics, simpler waveform, more complicated. So in other words, what you're doing is changing the complexity of the waveform from a simple, here's just really the simplest thing, more complicated, more complex, adding them to 2 other wave sounds. Anyway, this machine has a very complex sound chain, and they both do. But saying that there's 6 operators and they work each other is just the start, because each of them has their own envelope generator, independently of the envelope generator. The 3 envelope generators that are assigned to one is assigned to pitch. Well, you never use that one, and the other side is the filter. Very commonly, you want to use that one, and or one's amplitude and one's so the loudness of over time. But there's a total of 8 potential ADSR envelopes. That's a lot. Well, this one has 4, and that's a lot. Well, it has 3 envelopes with 4 parameters. This has 8 envelopes with 4 parameters. Trust me, it's fun. And then we're getting into the there's a whole post-processing section that you can add, where you can add chorus, distortion, and it's all done digitally. This also has that, but they're just very different in how they sound. And then also, in the same way that this has had a sequencer built in, and you can store sequences with each patch, this one has stuff like that. So, for example, this is the one that's stored for this particular patch. It's a loop. And the point is as soon as I trigger it, this bad boy starts going too. And the cool thing is, real time. So 70 beats per minute instead of 125. And it's synchronized with the drum machine, which is pretty cool right there. Just speed it up, everything stays the same. You never want to do anything at 150 beats per minute. Let's check some of these other patches here. Like this one's similar. It's supposed to be a keyboard instrument, but more of a synthesizer. But it's interesting to listen to a sound like this. And then look at the algorithm, it's very different. Only one of the operators is assigned to actually produce a waveform. And then the other 5 are all modulating, including a stack. 6 is modulating 5, which is modulating 4, which is modulating the actual oscillator. So again, if you look at the actual formula, it's just a multiply. It's just a bunch of numbers multiplying, and dividing. But they're doing that to calculate each where the waveform is, where each based on where the waveform is now, where's the next point on that waveform. It was invented by a guy, I think in Stanford in the 70s, using the giant computers of the day. He thought maybe the computers could in real time produce tones without having any actual hardware. He was the first person to make that kind of plug-in on a computer. It was a long time ago. And he invented FM synthesis, which he licensed to Yamaha for the X7, and they made a bunch of money. But nobody's really done it till this one. Again. All right, what's this sound like this? Okay, maybe. So I would call that funky, and funky is very 70s, and 70s is also worth this TR8, TR08. But it's not a great loop, I gotta admit. I'm not in love with it. Let's try something else. That's not bad. We might come back to it. Here's another kind of clav sound. What's the sequence? All right, we're gonna do a recording of this one. Over here, that's fine. Turn these down. That's good. Perfecto. Okay, I just gotta remember not to talk because it'll go in the recording. Too loud, at least. Didn't like that. Something was out of sync in this thing here. Okay, let's try this again. I think it's better. Yeah. Let's try one more. Maybe we won't get anything done. Stop doing it. Let's try something. You know what? That's just too funky for me today. I'm not sure I'm really in that funky a mood. These are all kind of funky though. You know what I mean? Let's try this one instead anyway. So we made 1minute and 49 seconds of really mediocre, funky dub or whatever you want to call it. Really mediocre. Now I'm going to do what I did last time. Play it back for y'all, pressing the correct button. Make sure by looking over there, you can see. It doesn't appear to be playing back correctly. If I pause it, you can still hear me, right? Yes. Okay. That's not good. This is not good. I don't like it. It's got a groove. All right, that was terrible. Well, it was just, no, it wasn't terrible. It's just bad. But the good thing is, you could hear it. So, this is something I have fun with, all right? Okay? What else we got? Really, you get super funky. What else do we got that's not as funky, hopefully? Probably funky. Funkier, you can imagine. Alright, draw slider organ. Oh, that's a well-known lick. That's definitely copyrighted. Pretty well done though, for what it is. Tone wheel organ. Wow, that's pretty rad. That's a decent tone wheel organ. Wow. I haven't checked all these patches out really. Oof. Space organ. What kind of organ are they talking about? A bunch more organs. That's probably not designed to go with a hours of fun, at least. Accordion? Okay, yeah, some things are better definitely without the... Okay. Jazzy guitar. All right. What's this one? That's pretty crazy right there. if I like them, but at least they're ideas. Let's just start from, like this one. You know what? We'll do a little recording of this one. Just for fun, for the end of our little recording studio session. Do a little improvisation here. I don't know if it'll be as good if I record. It's never as good as when I'm recording. But we're going to try it anyway. there's some stuff in there I liked. Let's give it one little playthrough here. Anyway. Okay. Well, thank you for the recording studio stream. I got to talk a little bit about the synthesis architecture of the OptiX and how you can adjust in real time something you couldn't do on the DX7, adjust in real time the various operators, levels, and basic ratio, the time, the ratio, which is basically some value that tracks the keyboard, but you can multiply it, so you get harmonics. Anyway, and the drum machine. Some people asked good questions about whether it was the Behringer, the Roland reissue. It's the Roland, and I think I got everything. So we made a little recording. I wasn't super happy with the recording, but it wasn't terrible. And again, I got to play with all of my keyboards and do some music, and that's what I like to do. It's having a good time in the studio. Whether I keep this recording or throw it away, it's probably a throwaway. But at least I'm thinking about musical ideas, especially because these loops are just 2 chords. So it's just it's just D, E major 7th to A. really fun. We'll do this again. Say hi to the cat. And welcome. Thank you, Games Come. Hey, going back to the future. It is a nice setup. Hi, by the licensed Deb. Thank you for trouble. You just come in at the kind of the end, unless you've been here for a while. But yeah, we were wandering the studio. We were playing with all the some of the different sounds you can get out of this thing. Well, you haven't heard the end of either what these synthesizers can do. So we're gonna do. I mean, we're like 30. We're like 40. We're 56 patches into I think 400 patches on this, and we got hundreds and hundreds more to try on this one. And then there's combinations, and then being able to play the drum machine and make patterns and things like that. So we're gonna do that again. We're trying to do this once every week or two, and we'll come into the recording studio and we'll talk about it. And if you have questions. Oh, good. And then you get the, make sure if you're subscribed, remember, you get the one benefit of my channel is that cool emote that you saw up at the top. It's Kench999 shock, capital shock emote, which, using in my channel is no big deal, but using it in other people's channels is really cool because it will get attention. It will really get attention. Trust me. Don't, people will look at it. Anybody, they'll look at it and go, what the hell is that? I want one like that. So, and it's basically the only, there you go. It's the only benefit of my channel, really, except whatever. But that is a pretty cool emote. Thanks to Fabi in Mordstream for making that, because he made it and sent it over to me from that thing. Oh, thank you very much. My benefit is you. It's nice to. It's my, by the way, you can see my Mistress Mord shirt here. She's my streamer. Okay. Now I really have to get my Friday going and kind of seal things up here. So again, it was really nice to see some of you at the end. I'm going to be streaming every day. Probably not a recording studio stream tomorrow. It might just be a flight simulator stream followed by guitar or just the piano lounge. We might do Christmas songs tomorrow. I haven't really decided. I don't get a lot of traffic on the weekend, so it doesn't really matter. But again, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much for dropping by the studio. So I moved here as my camera's back there on a really tall thing, and then my other camera's over there. But as again, I think I got the technology on weekends about the same time, 12:30 to 1 p.m. So right now it's 2:45. I started around. It's been about 2 hours, almost 2 hours exactly. I'm going to end right on the 2 hour mark. So I started around 12:45 today, went to 2:45, and that's where I kind of like to go. Every day, but sometimes it's a half hour later or half an hour earlier, not really earlier. Sometimes it's just later. It kind of depends on my work schedule because I'm taking an hour out of work during the week. But that's when I get most of my traffic. People come by during the week to say hi, and then people are busy on the weekend. So I understand that. So you don't get too many people in the week, but I do the same thing because it's something I'd probably be doing anyway. As I mentioned, I only stream because I'm doing it. Yeah, I forgot to mention this is my great Mistress More t-shirt. I wore this when I made that emote. So I literally wore it. When you see that emote, you can't really tell, but I'm wearing, not these glasses though, but I'm wearing this top and this shirt because I wore this shirt on the Sunday that I went to TwitchCon, and I met up with Mord and Meg, so she was happy that I was wearing the Mord shirt. Basically it was her bodyguard shirt. You get these online. She has a merchandise store. It's a pretty cool shirt. It's a pretty hot shirt, really. I mean, it's her thing, So yeah, it's one of my favorite shirts. So that's the shirt and this thing that I wore while making the emote that you see in the emotes thing. That was when I visited Nicole and got that I got that catfish video going. So anyway, I gotta go. I want to go. I had a really good time though. I'm glad I got to spend like more than an hour in the studio diddling around, and that's what I do. I can basically spend a few hours doing that. And it's a lot like that. I try to find an interesting sequence on the Op6. I try to find some random patch on the DeepMind. And I just see where it goes, see what it takes me. And I've done a bunch of those that I sent to some of my musical friends, and they were like, "Wow, these are fucking fantastic." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if you saw me make them, you might not go they're fantastic because you can see how I'm just kind of playing blues scales over whatever two chords are in these short patterns that are which they could be more than two, but usually it's two. Anyway, the point is, there's a little less to it than meets the eye. But I still have a great time. Again, it's fun music. So, Yeah, again, I'm going to take off. Everybody here, I really appreciate you coming by, and I hope I'll see you next time. Again, next week there'll be more musical streams. We're going to continue with Christmas music on occasion, practicing my Christmas music, and playing guitar. And every day we're going to play Microsoft Flight Simulator until I get that fucker right, because I still have it on. I crashed several times today. So I'm still learning how to frickin' fly those planes. I know it's pathetic. Someday I feel I will get it right in about 10 years. So until then, we're going to play every day. Every fucking day. All right? Flight Simulator.